Here with the latest Tennessee edition, talking about Dante Thornton. Dante, you've kind of been feeling Tennessee for the last few weeks. Finally get to town. Just kind of take me through the visit. What did you enjoy about it? And then when did you kind of know Tennessee was going to be the right spot for you?
I say I knew Tennessee was going to be the right spot for me when I first had my home visit with Coach Pope. And it was like a few weeks ago, but I instantly felt the vibe that it was there. And then I had a great relationship with him throughout the whole process of him recruiting me since I entered the transfer portal. So after that, my main thing was I just want to get down and see how things are going to be when I get down there. And then after that, that's how I'm going to make my decision if that's the place for me.
What do you like about Tennessee? And you know, kind of what made Tennessee the right pick for you?
Well, first you can see it for me playing receiver, you can see it had one of the Blitnikoff winner as one of the receivers that played here. So that lets you know that they throw the ball enough for the receiver to have a lot of exposure. And he wasn't their only good receiver this year. So it goes to show that they throw the ball a lot, which that would draw the attention of any wide receiver.
Were you watching the Orange Bowl, kind of like, all right, now let me get a feel for this?
I was watching. It was when Joe had threw a 60-yard bomb down the field. I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to worry about nothing else. I already know where I'm going at. Yeah, I instantly knew that.
So you got Squirrel, he can run, you can run. Joe's all of a sudden got that powerful arm, but can he outthrow you boys is the question.
Nah, he ain't outthrowing me, but he got a rocket for an arm, I can tell you that much.
But when you watch him throw it, is it kind of like, that's kind of different? Because, it comes out with a velocity.
Yeah, to me it looked like it's very effortless when he throws the ball. It throws me off. I'm like, he just back there, tossed it up, 60-yard bomb. I'm like, dang.
What do you like about Coach Pope?
I feel like with our backgrounds of how our life has been like growing up and stuff like that, I feel like we relate a lot, and we had like some of the same situations that we encountered throughout our life, but just from since our culture was different, like him being from down south and me being from Baltimore, it's totally different, but you can still see the similarities in how we both grew up the same.
What do you like about Coach Heupel?
Coach Heupel, that's my guy. Like we just finished bowling. I beat him. I ain't gonna want nobody to know that, but I beat him in bowling. But yeah, Coach Heupel is a great guy. I met his wife yesterday and today. She's a great woman. I really like her here.
I'm starting to think Coach Heupel throws these games against the recruits and the transfers. No recruit and transfers ever lost to Coach Heupel. Every recruit I talk to, I just beat him in this, I just beat him in that.
No, one thing nobody beat him in is bowling, but I beat him in bowling. I hold that one. I beat him in bowling.
You left-handed or right-handed?
Right-handed.
Right-handed?
Mm-hmm.
So kind of take me through, your skill set. What do you feel like you bring to the table, and where do they kind of envision you in this offense?
I feel like one of my biggest skill sets that I bring to the table is my versatility, whereas though I'm a big and fast receiver, but you can also put me in a slot or keep me in the outside or move me around wherever you feel that you need to be for the best of my advantages. And so that's why I feel like I'm a mismatch problem, where though I'm a 6'5" receiver, but I run like a slot. So it's like it's hard to guard, I guess you could say. And they see me coming in and then like a guy like Jalen Hyatt and coming in and like being a deep field threat.
The latest addition is a deep field threat. Joe Milton is a happy man on this Monday. Mm-hmm. Dante Thornton, the latest addition to Tennessee's football roster heading into the 2023 campaign.
Go Vols.
All right, everybody, welcome to Go Big Orange Talk. I'm your host with Smokey Vaughn, and Mr. Happy Hour's out here today with us. Guys, we're going to open up again today, just talk a little bit about what has conspired today. It looks like we did get a few recruits in. Also, a little update on our buddy Damar. We won't keep you too long. We know that game time's coming up here in the next about an hour and a half or so, and you can laugh at my hat all you want to. It's funny. I love it. Love it. Mr. Happy Hour, how you doing today, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Just getting ready for the game tonight. Got quite a few different things to kind of pick up on here, and then we'll give our final predictions at the end of this one here. But, Mr. Happy Hour, I'm going to let you go ahead and take it away for us here, bud, and let's see your thoughts and what you're thinking about the transfer portal, the commits, the new guys coming in.
Dude, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. We're not getting a flood of guys in, but I feel like we're getting the right guys in. The linebacker from BYU, the tight end, Castles. So, I mean, we're getting some playmakers in. I'm pretty excited about it. I think Dante Thornton is one of the key pieces that we need because you got Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt leaving. So, yeah, I mean, he was the 57th ranked prospect coming out of 2012 recruiting class. He was a highly recruited receiver, and I think he was rated a 97. So he was like a really high 4-star. Easily could have been a 5-star, but a really high 4-star. So, I think the Vols are getting a really, really big stud here. Imagine Dante Thornton, Brew McCoy on opposite sides. Brew on the left, Thornton on the right, and then imagine Squirrel White and the God slot, and then bringing Ramel Keaton in when needed for giving another receiver a breather. I'm telling you. And then you got the tight ends. I mean, we got Ethan Davis coming in, who is a very, 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 very athletic tight end, probably going to fill those voids of what Princeton Fant is leaving with. And then you got, like I said, you got McKellen Castle, I think is his first name. Castle's coming in, who is also highly athletic. A lot of people see him as a NFL tight end, caliber tight end. So just read real quick on some stuff about Dante Thornton. He's projected to be a a second to third round prospect. Easily could probably go one because I don't think a lot of people expected Jalen Hyatt to be arguably a first round draft pick. So there's a lot of buzz about Jalen Hyatt going in the first round. So if you ever wonder about the kind of comparisons that players get of another player that's in the NFL, he's compared to Kenny Galladay. So he's not a bad receiver at all. Long, wiry frame, but needs to add strength. I agree with that. A little bit more muscle mass wouldn't hurt. Releases off the line well and gets into routes quickly. Knows how to set up defensive backs, locate ball well, and is sure-handed. Possession receiver with big play capability. Has deceptive speed. Runs 4.63 in a 40. Attacks ball in the air. Is a legitimate red zone threat. Great body control and flexibility. The one thing that he could probably do is tighten up his route running out of his breaks. High level player for Elite 5 program, second or third round NFL draft pick potential, like I said. He's a 2-sport athlete. He also runs track and field. So he's a 6'5", roughly 200-pound receiver. So I'm just saying, he is, like I said, imagine Brew McCoy, his big-ass frame on the left side, and then Thornton adds a little bit more muscle mass with that speed on the right side. You got the best of Cedric Tillman and Jalen Hyatt in one player. So I'm super excited. Then you have a couple more prospects who are one who has already announced that he will be coming to Tennessee. That is Omar Norman Lott, coming from Arizona State. He's a 6'2" and a half, 295-pound defensive lineman. He was a 4-star recruit, nationally ranked at 355. Comparison, Jaron Reed of the Seattle Seahawks has a strong base, shows good burst off the lines of scrimmage with strength to push his blocker back on a ball rush or a bull rush and mix up at the point of attack. So, I mean, there's a few words there about Norman. And then the last one to note is John Campbell, an offensive lineman. Big dude. So his announcement will come. I want to say 7 p.m. Eastern time. So right before the game, be ready for that one. I think right now the big fight is between Tennessee and Florida. He's a commit, or he's a Miami transfer. So there's a good chance he might stay in Florida. Who knows? But I mean, I think Tennessee's going to be pretty stacked, especially if we get another big ass lineman like him.
Oh yeah, I think he'd be smart to. I think he'd definitely be smarter to come to us. But I mean, it is what it is.
And I want to say that video that we just watched of Thornton, I absolutely loved it for a couple of reasons. One, he seems like he genuinely got like he made a genuine connection with the coaches. He fell in love with the offense. He wants to be here, and he is doing nothing but spreading positive words on his teammates. Like he's already talking about Joe Milton, how much of a good quarterback he is, the talent that he has, that he brings to the table. He mentioned that not only Jalen Hyatt was a star receiver in this offense, but that Brew McCoy and the others were as well. I like the fact that he says he doesn't think that Jalen Hyatt's going to throw him, which I think would absolutely be a fucking miracle if he doesn't. But and then I want to say, like I said, he wants to be here. He said he knew he wanted to be here after a few weeks ago. So, and then to hear him say "Go Vols" at the end of that, you don't hear that too often. Like, I mean, that's one thing I respect about Kirby Smart is at the end of, I mean, you can probably go back to about every single fucking interview that dude does. He says, "Go Dogs." That's one thing I respect is he represents his team. And that's what I want to see from our players and our coaches. Go Vols. That's what you need to do. So.
Oh yeah.
What about you?
I definitely agree. I think that it, hold on one second. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that the showing of, the Go Vols thing, I think that was huge. I think that he is I don't know why they wouldn't say he's a number 1 draft pick. He had an amazing year last year.
I mean, he had an all right year. He was considered. I mean, he is I want to say he's a redshirt freshman. I could be wrong, but I want to say he's coming in as a sophomore this year. He was out of the 2021 class, so I mean, he was probably 3rd in the depth chart, maybe 4. So he didn't get the type of touches that. Who was the other receiver that Troy Franklin? Troy Franklin came in and stole the show. So, and they're pretty similar in size and all that. So, I think Thornton has maybe a little bit more speed, but I don't feel like Oregon likes to spread the ball around the way that Tennessee does. They like to run the ball, but they also like to throw it, and they like to throw it to a lot of different targets. So I feel like Thornton made the right choice to benefit not only himself but this offense as well. So
oh yeah, he I like his confidence.
God, yeah.
You can tell he's really confident. I like that, he said that he doesn't think that Joe's going to overthrow him.
Bazooka Joe.
Yeah.
I love that. That shit made me laugh right there.
Yeah, it did me too.
I mean, Joe was able to overthrow Jalen Hyatt and Squirrel Watt. So
yeah,
those are two fast dudes. So
oh yeah.
But hey, I like that he's confident. I like that he accepted the challenge, and I'm excited for 2023 season. I really legitimately think, and I get a lot of shit, and I don't give a hell, but I think Tennessee really has a legitimate chance in 2023. The pieces are just coming together. I mean, we're talking year 2 of Josh Heupel now. He got us to 11 wins, where we should probably maybe get 7. I mean, yeah, the transfer portal helped a lot. It sped up the process by easily 4 to 5 years. Because if not for the transfer portal, I honestly think that to be where we're at now, I feel like Tennessee probably honestly would be there in about the next 5 years. So transfer portal helped a lot. It came in at the right time, and I'm just super fucking excited. I mean, I think 2023 is going to be. I think Tennessee will be in the playoffs in the last playoff format where you only have 4 teams, and that's what I want to see. I want to see that because that's going to let you know just how good Tennessee is, and if they're going to be able to compete. So, and with the pieces that are coming in, and then I want to touch on another thing. Tennessee just had a inside linebacker, Juwan Mitchell, entered the portal. I think he has one more year of eligibility, which is next year. It does suck for those who is a Juwan Mitchell fan, but at the same time, you have the linebacker come out of BYU, who is a legitimate leader on that defense. He has one more year of eligibility left, and he's a leader. He makes plays. He's almost always around the ball. So I feel like Tennessee upgraded. I hate to be like that about players who have given their all to Tennessee, but at the same time, are you really giving your all whenever you go to the transfer portal? But in the same token, it's like, well, maybe the vision that they're seeing doesn't maximize their potential. So maybe he sees something that is going to maximize his potential, because from what I've been reading, he's not necessarily where he thought he would be at this juncture in Tennessee. So, I wish nothing but the best for him, except for if he plays Tennessee, then I hope we light his fucking shit up. But other than that, I'm pretty excited with the BYU transfer that we've acquired and all the others. So, I mean, and then you got that big ass O lineman from Texas that I think is going to be a huge difference maker. And then you got a lot of other guys, a big guy from, I want to say, a JUCO, so a junior college. So
yeah, he's definitely going to be good. I think we're totally, we got the right amount of people in. I don't think that Tennessee really lacked a lot of need, other than maybe some cornerbacks.
Defensive backs is what they really needed. They did need a quarterback, a good quarterback to be ready for the future after Joe Milton goes off. I agree with that. But the linebacker room, the defensive backs, and obviously the O-line is always arguably a number one, number 2 need. So
that's your insurance for the quarterback right there.
So
and the running backs,
but yeah, I mean, we hit every single target of what we needed. I mean, people were saying we needed like our pass defense was terrible this year. Just imagine if that was like 10% better than what it was. We probably arguably could be in the playoffs. It's a what if thing, yeah, but Tennessee brought in 5-6 defensive backs, and then one of them is supposed to be a special teams stud in Jack Luttrell. So he's a safety by trade, but he could. I've seen videos where he's done 1v1s on I think it's Destroying Channel, and he's got good feet. He's got great hands, and he could be arguably a receiver. But I think he's going to be the return specialist. If not next year, the following year. So I'm pretty excited about that. But we targeted all the needs, you know.
Oh yeah.
And I think we got Trayvon Flowers coming back, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he
Maybe
is.
I could be wrong. I think he might be leaving. But yeah, I mean, all the pieces. We're getting all the right pieces, and I think next year is going to be the year where we finally compete.
Yeah, we're going all the way. I don't care what nobody says. We're going all the way. I mean, not being biased at all. I just really do feel that. I mean,
Exactly.
if I mean, let's just say that I don't know, Florida had the potential that we had right now. I would give them the same kind of
Oh
like
yeah.
go ahead.
Absolutely.
I just I don't know.
I
I think
agree.
yeah.
You know, a lot of people are gonna probably watch this video that aren't Vol fans and say like, "Oh my God, we got the orange shades on." You know, we're only looking
I'll
through
be right
those.
back. I'll be right back, guys.
We apologize. We are experiencing some technical difficulties. Just kidding. Well, for the viewers who are still listening or who will be listening, I'm going to go ahead and just continue the show. But I want to go over a lot of the commits and the transfers for people who may or may not be keeping track of it. Uh, you know, like I said, we just received confirmation that Omar Norman Lott, a defensive lineman, has decided to come to Tennessee. Dante Thornton decided to come to Tennessee. The linebacker that I've been talking about from BYU is Keenan Pillay. I'm sorry. He's going to be able to be an immediate impact. Andre Carrick from Texas is an offensive tackle. Charles Campbell came from Indiana. He will be a kicker, so he'll probably be kicking another wobbly ass field goal for Tennessee to beat Alabama. And then McKellen Castles came from some. I'm not even sure what school he came from. Not even sure what. It doesn't have much word on what school he is coming from. That's crazy. But he's a tight end. Like I said, I watched some video of this guy, and he is going to probably be a huge stud. I think he'll be a huge red zone target. So those are some names to be excited for. And then we got pushed up in the rankings of the overall recruitment rankings with the Dante Thornton and Omar Norman Lott signings. So that's something to kind of look at and be excited for. And we're still waiting on Smokey Vaughn to come back. Lord help. Some other things that we've got coming up for y'all tonight is we're going to talk about the Damar Hamlin updates. For those who don't know, he has finally been able to leave the hospital and out of Cincinnati and head back to his home in Buffalo. So there's some really great news there. And then I really would like to have some other people come on because I'd really like to hear some of the Georgia fans' predictions. I mean, we can kind of all guess where they're going to say who they're going to say is going to win, but I wouldn't be too sure. I think TCU has a legitimate chance. I think if Georgia comes in and plays the way that they did Missouri and Kentucky, I think that they're in deep, deep shit. Because although I have not been the biggest fan of TCU throughout the season, they managed to pull out the wins. If you're going to use the same excuse that you give Georgia every single time, where you say a good team finds a way to win, well, TCU's done that. They might have lost their conference championship game, but they found a way to win to get to the game that matters.
Yeah.
So, anyway, about time you bring your ass back, Smokey Long. Where the hell you
Yeah,
go?
man. Sorry about that. I got a call from Oregon. Had to answer that real quick, but I am
Gotcha.
back. Sorry about that, everybody.
So unprofessional. It's a good thing we're not professionals, huh?
I know, that's right. That's right. Well, I wanted to go ahead and pop off to the next segment here, and just touch briefly on Damar. I'm going to tell you guys something, man. This guy it's a miracle, man. I mean, for him to go from it just makes me laugh, like smile and giggle, because it's such a miracle that he is still alive and
He's
in
lucky
his
to be.
right
Well,
mind.
I think there's luck to be had, but I think there's a strong desire and will to live.
Mm-hmm.
But I've already touched a little bit on it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just ecstatic that the man's alive. He's good to go. He got discharged from the hospital today to go home. That's awesome. It is what it is. Yeah, buddy, it's looking right on Mr. Happy Hour. And Damar, I hope to see you back, buddy. One thing I don't think they're going to do, I don't think they're going to let him come back to the NFL.
You don't?
No.
I don't know, man. Ain't that what physicals are for?
Man, that could be.
I mean,
debate.
you let players who was able to beat cancer come back. Why in the fuck wouldn't you let this guy come back?
I don't know, man, because I don't know. They might.
Do you think he should? That's what I want to know. Do you think they should let him or not?
I think they should, but I would be as an individual. I don't know if he has kids or anything, but I would think about my well-being first.
Well, yeah.
I just, I mean, he's going to. They did go ahead and give him $4 million of his contract.
Yeah, they did. They did let him retain his entire contract, which they should. I mean,
yeah.
All right. A couple of things I want to touch on this. Okay. Number one, what is a professional athlete, an NFL player who gets a life-threatening injury, but he is able to pass a physical to show that he plays again? What's so fucking different about that than a veteran going to war who's able to pass a physical to continue to fight for our country, like, or anything like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what makes that life more valuable to say no? I mean, you're getting paid millions of fucking dollars.
Yeah,
it should not be that big of an issue. If you pass a physical where professional medical physicians say in their professional opinion that you are able to play the sport again, let the kid play. Especially if it's his choice. Like, I mean, that's what he loves to do. That's what he dreamt of doing his entire life. He's only 2 years in the fucking league.
Yeah, he's.
And then
only
you're gonna,
24.
based off of a freak accident, injury, whatever, to say that.
I guess it'll just depend. It'll just depend on what? Because he might have some long-term problems. He might.
Nobody gave a shit about that about the NFL players a couple of decades ago. where you were legitimately trying to kill the other fucking player. Like, you respected them enough.
This has never happened. This has never happened.
Okay, but there's always something new that's going to happen. It's just like what I'm afraid of. All right, like I appreciate the guy that he was able to survive. Like I'm happy he survived. Don't get me wrong, but when you start treating this with more, and you go like more cushion, then you're going to fuck up the game that much more. Then you're going to handicap the game even more. It's no different than the fucking quarterback situation. You can't touch a quarterback. You can't even push him with little effort and him fall to the ground looking for the receiver. Like, what the fuck? What happened to the roughing the passer? Excessive force. Like, the game has become a joke. What people don't understand is football was meant to be the modern gladiator sport. It was meant to be a vicious, violent game where people were supposed to enforce and impose their will on their opponent.
No, I completely agree. I just think that there might be something that, but I mean, he was under for 9 minutes.
Yes, 9 minutes, but he's fine now. He is able to he appears to have full cognitive ability. He knows where he's at. He probably knows his birthday. He knows the fucking year. He remembers his zodiac sign. He remembers all this shit. That is the point of a physical. If the physician says that you pass your physical, you are cleared to play, then let the motherfucker play, because he is making millions of dollars. If he ends up going to get another injury, it's not like he can't fucking afford the doctor bill.
No,
simple as that.
I get that, but if he has to be put on a rest, like some kind of pump or something, they're not going to let him play, because I got a friend that's on one right now, and he played baseball, and he had a. I
don't see it being any different than allowing somebody like Eric Berry, who beat cancer, come back and play the game.
Cancer's different than the heart, though. I mean, if you're on the field and you pass out, you can get mad. We're having a show right here. We're live, and people can see this. It's fine. And I don't want to go on and on and on and, talk over each other or whatnot. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be able to, but if he's got, like, something that is hurting him, like, long-term, like, messing with him, they're not going to let him play if he's got to have a heart monitor.
If you can prove that, fine. I would acknowledge, and I would agree with that. But if that's what a physical is for, it's no different than a previous injury from before. And then you come back, or you get traded to another team, or you sign a free agent deal with another team, they got to do a physical, right? They got to do the physical to make sure that you are worth the investment. If he passes the physical, do an extensive physical. If he passes the physical, because you're going to have a lawsuit on your hands if you deny the man after he's able to pass the physical. You can't. He's going to probably sue the league. But again, it's no different, that one life, than all the other lives that their life is on the line. You're getting paid millions of dollars to play a children's sport. There's got to be some type of, like, I don't want to say sacrifice, but, like, there's got to be something on the line. That's why I missed the game 20 years ago. Like, it was a violent sport. It was more fun to watch. And people probably are going to look at me and be like, you asshole. But, I mean, that's the sport that it was meant to be. It wasn't meant, because, I mean, you can't, with the whole targeting rule, there's no clear indicator of what's a target or what's not anymore. You can't, because you either get the call right or you get the call call terribly wrong. Either way it goes. There's no clear way that you can call that make that call right every single time, 100% of the time. And I get that's part of the sport and all that, but if you're going to make a rule, make it to where it is 100%, like as close to perfect as you can make the call, and you can't do that. It's just like roughing the passer. It's a favoritism. Like, and I feel like referees should be held more accountable for blatantly bad calls, like calls that clearly are bad, and you have the chance to turn it over, and you don't. I feel like they should be, I don't know, like, I don't know, suspended or heavily fined or something. It's the game has gotten terribly, terribly, terribly bad over the last couple of decades. It's like more of a pussy
Yeah.
game than it is anything at this
No,
point.
I totally agree with you on all that. I wasn't saying that he shouldn't play.
And
I mean,
I know, but for
you
those
know, if he,
who are,
right, yeah, no, I mean, it'll be up to him essentially, right?
it should
Like,
be. I mean, it's his
it
right as
just,
a free American to be able to choose. It's his life. He, as long as that shows full cognitive ability of making a choice, let him
yeah,
make
I
it.
mean, the only downfall to that I think the NFL is going to take into an account is, let's say they let the man come back, right? Well, you say, okay, he could sue the NFL if they don't let him come back, right? Well, also you got to look at it through his family too, right? Like, let's say that the NFL lets this man come back in, and then he does it again, but he dies, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, then his family could sue the NFL, and
Not
that's kind of
not if you make some type of agreement in a contract that
the
says
NFL's not going to do
because
that.
I don't even think that you can sue the NFL if you die in the game, because you know that there is a chance that you could die.
Yeah,
It's not
but
like there's not been a guy who has died on the field. I'm pretty sure you could probably go back at some point or another, and somebody has legitimately died on a football field, and you
it's a
know that you have that
possibility.
possibility of dying. So I'm pretty sure that there is like a a clause in there where you cannot sue the NFL if you die, or your family can, because again, I'm sure it's written somewhere in a contract that they sign.
There's a good possibility it's in there.
I would
but,
imagine it.
I mean, either way, I mean, there's two sides, right? There's the side of the NFL doesn't want to take risk. He may not want to take a risk.
Well,
He might become a analyst or something.
and fine, but it should be his choice. Again, his choice. If he chooses to play, and they say, well, in order for you to play, you have to pass an extensive, like a slightly more extensive physical than you probably would have originally done. And if he passes that and he still chooses to play, that's on him. He's not allowed to. He or his family cannot sue the NFL because he knows the risk. He understood. He accepted. That is his fault. Just like if he wants to play. I mean, that's my take on it. Like that's how I would look at it if I was in the situation. I mean, again, grew up thinking you were going to be in the NFL all your life. You are 2 years in it, just short of 2 years, and this shit happens, and you may never get to play again because of a freak accident. Fuck that. So that's my. And another thing that I can't fucking stand is, did you watch the game? I'm trying to think of what the game was. There's a game where they kneeled and all that prior to it, and then they went back into the locker room, and then they came back out, and then they started playing the game. It was the very first game, I want to say, I want to say it might be the very first game after the fact where they kneeled and everything. I had this conversation a few nights ago. I want to say it happened Saturday night. I want to say Saturday night.
I watched that.
And I want to say I'm happy and thankful the guy is alive. He's doing well. I feel like that shit was virtue signaling. I may I may be viewed as an asshole, and I don't care. That's my opinion. I feel like there was virtue signaling there because they treated it like the man had just died. Like if he was still in a coma or if he was unconscious or whatever the case may be, they decided to do that. That was one thing. I understood it. But then you find out that he's alive. I think at the time he might have been 50% on the respirator or whatever. Maybe just got took off of it, but he was aware. He had full cognitive functioning ability, and he was able to hold conversation and all this stuff. He was fine, as fine as you can get in that moment. And then you want to have that. Like I get if it was his team maybe doing it, that would be one thing, but for a whole
I think that what they were doing is, and I mean, I don't know if you're a religious man or not. I am I definitely am. And I think that, prayer should be everywhere,
oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
I
But
think
did you
that,
not kind of feel like maybe that was a form of virtue signaling in a way?
I don't know,
Do
man.
you feel like it was really needed for a team that wasn't like I get that players probably hang out on the off season outside of the sport and all that, like you build relationships and you went to college with other players on other teams and all that, but and I'm all for the shirt representation, like I get that, and I would be all for that, but I feel like it just felt almost kind of morbid for me a little bit because the guy, it felt like they were mourning the guy instead of celebrating the fact that he was like conscious and full cognitive ability. Like it felt weird. It felt more like a virtue signaling to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think everybody in the NFL right now is kind of shook about it, and
Yeah,
I mean, you know, you should. I believe that you should pray no matter what happens.
yeah.
But I mean,
Well, pray before you come out on the. Why did you have to make it public? Why couldn't you just pray in the locker rooms? You see what I'm saying? Why
oh
couldn't you
yeah,
pray
I
before
mean
you
they're
got to the stadium?
definitely, that I think that they're definitely just trying to. I, I don't know. It's a united thing, like bringing people together and stuff, and I think it is what it is. But we're going to move on from that. We are going on to the last segment tonight. On to it's almost game time. We're literally under an hour from game time, and it's been a day, but we're getting to the final countdown here with about 40 minutes to go. What is your final take on this Georgia TCU game?
That's actually what I was talking about before you came back.
Oh, what'd you say on there? I'm sorry. What were you
No,
talking
you're
about?
fine. Like I was saying before you came back, I think if Georgia comes back, or if Georgia comes in this game like they did against Missouri, Kentucky, partially Kent State and Ohio State, and they let them linger and they don't shut them down, I think Georgia's in fucking trouble. I really do, because I I was so wrong against TCU at, and I guess we'll really find out what they're made of against Georgia tonight. They keep it like a close game. Everybody who talks shit about TCU, including me, throughout the season, owes them a fucking apology. If they keep it within a field goal, everybody owes them an apology because they were those motherfuckers that nobody thought they were. And I think it all comes down to what kind of game Max Duggan has. Um, if he protects the football, if he makes good choices, obviously that goes without saying in a way, but he's got to play out of his mind because this is going to be, I think Michigan, if I'm not mistaken, Michigan was a top 5 defense, maybe. But this is going to be the best defense that TCU sees all season long, that Max Duggan plays all season long. This is going to be the test for TCU. And I think he's got to have a game out of his mind. And I think that Miller, their running back, number 33, I think he's going to have a 100-something yard, 100-yard game. I think he's got to break 100 for them to be successful. Be successful in the run game, get it going so that the passing game can open up. But Duggan's got to protect the football, and then I think the defense is just they're not going. I think that they could stop Georgia, but I'd almost say you want to double team Brock Bowers, but then at that same time you're going to leave players like McConkey open to make a shot downfield. So if you can find good matchups, I think play them man. Don't play zone, play them man, and see what happens at first. If you can't, if they keep finding mismatches and holes in your defense, might just have to switch to zone. But like I said, Georgia's not what they were last year. Their defense is not what they were last year. It's still an elite defense. They're still really, really good. And they got good weapons on offense that makes and maximizes Stetson Bennett's talent. Like, I think he is an average quarterback. I've always said that, and I will always say that. I think he is an average quarterback at best, but he is in an offense that maximizes his talent. I don't think he's as good as. And this is the funny thing. Most Georgia fans who know the game knows that Stetson Bennett should have never been in the Heisman. Like, I have a ton of Georgia fans who are friends who will agree to that. But they know that he has the weapons around him to just do enough, who can make good choices and do just enough to get just a couple more points on the board over the opponent, and that's what sometimes that's what it takes. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a close game. I don't see TCU running away with this, and I really don't even see Georgia running away with this one. I don't think that they have a high-powered offense. They got good weapons, but they just don't have the quarterback that can maximize everybody else's potential. Everybody else is too busy maximizing Stetson Bennett's potential. Otherwise, if you had a quarterback like Joe Milton or Hendon Hooker or C.J. Stroud or somebody like that of that caliber on that Georgia team, I honestly think that that all the close games that they had last year or this year wouldn't have been as close. I feel like the Kentucky game would have been a blowout. I feel like the Missouri game would have been like they would have had no close calls.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't have been barely squeaking by. But because Bennett is not that guy, that's the only reason. So I'm going to say, and then keep in mind, TCU also comes back. Like most of the time, they are a second half team,
Mm-hmm.
so they have that availability. I think Georgia is better on paper. I think that 9 times out of 10, Georgia wins. But going back to the Dumb and Dumber quote, you're telling me there's a chance with that 1%. That's all it takes. So I think if TCU can just last long enough, I think that they will win 28 to. Oh man, I don't know. 28 to 25. 24, 25.
Okay.
Somewhere around there. It's going to be within. It's going to be a touchdown or within or it's going to be either within a touchdown to a field goal.
Okay.
I'm taking TCU.
There you go. We got Mr. Happy Hour with a field goal, 3 to 4 points difference. I'm going to go a little. I mean, it's not just because I don't like Georgia. There's a lot of.
It's completely because I don't fucking like Georgia. I hate Georgia. Like there is almost no good fans. There's almost nothing good to say about a Georgia fan.
Yeah,
There's a few. There is a few.
Yeah,
I'm going to piss a lot of people off. I don't give a fuck. But there are a few that I can respect that are not assholes who are not just insufferable. But continue.
absolutely.
I'm sorry for interrupting.
But yeah, I really thought that Michigan was going to tear TCU up.
I did too.
I mean, I thought it was going to be horrific. And it wasn't the case. I mean, TCU pretty much handled that whole game.
They controlled the line of scrimmage really on both sides. I'm surprised that it was this close. I will say this though, I feel like Michigan was fucked on one touchdown that ended up resulting into a turnover. I want to say a fumble. I think it was a fumble at the goal line. I don't know if you ever saw the play, but like the receiver caught the ball, but as he was coming down, his ass lands first right before the ball broke the plane, but he also didn't have full control of the ball and gained control once the ball broke the plane. Yeah, by definition, that should have been a touchdown. I will admit that. So really, it could have been different. Very well. And I think that they reviewed the play and still got, and that's what I was saying before, but they still got that shit wrong. It's insane.
I mean, but still, you can't let it come down to one play. You know what I mean?
No.
You gotta be able to grit and stuff like that. And to me, I don't think. I mean, I really had Michigan as a 3 touchdown team on top of TCU.
3. I would have said 2.
Yeah,
but
I just the way that they handled OSU.
Thought. I don't know. Maybe because OSU controlled the majority of the fucking Georgia game.
Yeah, they should have won that game.
I feel like OSU was in that situation where Georgia was with Missouri. Yeah. I feel like their offense. I don't know about their defense so much, but their offense is really, honestly, one of the better offenses in the league.
Yeah.
Because Tennessee's offense is the number 1 offense in the league and couldn't even get 2 touchdowns on the motherfuckers. So that's a testament. I feel like Ohio State's a lot better than people gave them credit for than what their record says. But or maybe Georgia's just not what everybody expects them or thinks that they are. It could go either way, to be honest with you. But I feel like Michigan, honestly, if they had Blake Corum, I honestly feel like they probably would have beaten TCU. I don't know if Blake Corum's the number. It was their running back. Who was Heisman candidate.
Yeah, I agree, but again, it is what it is. I'm happy.
I agree with you. I feel like I honestly, I give a lot of Georgia fans hell. I think when I say TCU is going to beat them, that's what I'm hoping because, like I said, I'm not an SEC fan. I am a fucking Tennessee fan, but I say that to fuck with Georgia fans to try and just really kind of get a rise out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But realistically, I thought it was going to be Georgia and Michigan. I really did. Even throughout like the season, like if Tennessee wasn't going to make it, I felt like it was going to be Georgia and Michigan in the national championship.
Oh yeah,
so,
I mean
it's a nice surprise though,
Yeah, it is. I mean, no man, I'm happy that TCU's there, and they're showing their grit on that, and out of the 4 that were actually on stage for the Heisman, I think that
I would have liked to have
won. Max should have won it for sure, 100%.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Is there another? Like, I get the point spread isn't that big of a difference. Like, it's a 2 touchdown game point spread, right?
Yeah.
Georgia's the favorite, which is understandable. I feel like it should have been a touchdown, but nonetheless, I digress. Can you name another game where if TCU wins, that it would be the biggest upset? I can't think of one.
No, not really.
Like not point spread wise, but like where you couldn't picture this team beating that team. Like nobody gives them a chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
Like,
they hadn't.
especially in the national championship. I can't think of it.
No,
Like,
it'd be a Cinderella show for them, big time. For this, I don't know anything else different.
I think this might have been also the smallest like school to ever win a national championship.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I'm being honest, man. I think they're going to win by 1 to 3 touchdowns.
Who? TCU.
TCU. Mm-hmm. And it's not just because I don't like Georgia. I just Max has got so much more heart than Bennett.
Grit.
That's
what I'm saying. It depends on what type of Max Duggan TCU gets. Not is he going to get? Are you going to get that same guy that willed his team to the very last play, the very last second of the game in his conference championship game, but is the rest of his team going to elevate their game, or are you just going to have another conference championship game where you're right there, you're so close to being perfect, and then you let it slip away?
I don't know. I think that Georgia's going to sleepwalk, and they're just going to think they're going to run the table, and that's not going to happen.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be 56 to 32. I really do.
What?
32, 56. I think they're going to put 56 points up on them.
No respect for Georgia. Like I thought I gave a big fuck you to Georgia, but my God.
I don't really respect their secondary that much. They're,
Ringo, dude.
And Max Duggan is a double threat too. That I know Bennett is, but I feel like TCU has got the better defensive line all the way to take out Bennett on that one. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
I'm telling you, man, like on paper, Georgia beats TCU in every position except for quarterback. And I'm going to hear I can hear the Georgia fans now saying, "Oh well, does Max Duggan have a national championship? Does he have a national championship MVP last year?" Clearly, no, the fuck he doesn't. But if you put the games, you take the record out of it, and you just look at each individual play of the quarterbacks and tell me who impresses you more. If you say Stetson Bennett, there's a reason why his fan base, they probably won't admit it now because he's at another national championship. There's a reason why his fan base wanted him gone and bitched and moaned and complained when he announced that he was coming back. And the only reason he came back is because he knew he probably wasn't going to get drafted in the NFL. He knew at best he was probably going to be a practice squad quarterback. That's it.
Yeah. I think he's still that.
And he knew that he would be the starter for this Georgia team if he came back. So he wanted to be in the spotlight. Does he have good stats? Yeah, but again, you put him on any other team that is not Bama, Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and maybe arguably even Michigan, and you see what the fuck he could do. I guarantee you those numbers are heavily inflated by the talent around him. And you can say, well, it's a team sport. Yeah, okay. Am I wrong, though? So that's my take on that. I think I do not see TCU. Like I messed around with Rodney, our buddy, earlier on his post, where he said "Go Dogs" because he has probably a lot of dogs fans and all that shit. But I put TCU by 50 just to fuck with some Georgia fans on there, but I don't mean it. I know it's going to be a close. If TCU wins, it's going to probably be within a field goal, and it's going to be. I guarantee you, it's going to end in the most controversial way if TCU wins. Like you're going to hear so many Georgia fans bitch and complain and moan about some type of call, about a fucking fly just happened to fly into the fucking football that threw off the fucking trajectory of Stetson Bennett's pass that could have, should have, would have been a fucking touchdown, and then the whole entire fucking fan base is going to blame that little fucking fly for fucking up that pass. Like I see it now. I see it now.
Oh yeah, they bad as Bama fans are nowadays.
I don't see it happening by your score, but I do see a light at the end of the tunnel where TCU is the national champions. But it's going to be I'm telling you, buddy, it's going to be within a field goal, and there's going to be a controversial call.
Oh yeah. We're gonna see here in about 35 minutes, guys. We're gonna see in about 35 minutes, baby.
I want if it comes down to one final drive, right? Like the last, if it comes down to the last 5 to 7 minutes of the fourth quarter, I do not want the referees to make the fucking game about them. I want the referees to let the receivers and the corner or defensive backs play. If it's an obvious pass interference, call it. But if you see some fucking hand movement from both sides, do not throw the fucking flag. Let the play happen. Let the boys play. Let it come down to execution. Not because you decided to be a part of the fucking game and throw a flag. Let the kids play. If you throw a flag on the final drive that could have decided the game, when it comes out that it could have easily been a pass interference on either side, I am going to fucking lose my mind. I cannot stand a game, a good, close game, that comes down to a controversial call.
Right.
Or target. Leave the fucking targeting out of it in the final few minutes of the game.
Yeah.
Is what I'm praying for.
Absolutely. Well, hey, look, man. Hey, Mr. Happy Hour and Smokey Vaughn here tonight, giving y'all a little bit of breakdown on a few different things. We've covered, the players coming into Tennessee. We've covered the Damar, and we have covered tonight's game. Mr. Happy Hour was 24, 25 to 28, and I said 56 to 32. Hey guys, it has been a wonderful hour with everyone.
I want everybody who watches this video comment down and let us know whose prediction you thought actually made the most fucking sense. Let's make a little fun competition out of this. Comment down below. Let us know what do you think of Smokey Vaughn's, or what do you think of my predictions? Which one sounded more legitimate? But either way, go ahead.
Oh, and guys, please like, subscribe, and share, and hit the bell if you're watching us on Facebook there tonight, guys. It's definitely a pleasure to come on here with Mr. Happy Hour. It has been a fantastic hour. You guys have a wonderful night.
I want to say that we will also be special guesting on another podcast when we get the video, the availability to upload it. We will do that. It's going to be a little bit different of a take than what than what you are used to, but it's going to be a fun little collaboration. We'll probably throw in some football talk, maybe some skateboarding, some life values and stuff like that. Like it could be a mixture of everything. So be ready for that. Again, like Smokey Vaughn said, please like, subscribe, and share. get us out there, and we
Ain't
appreciate
nothing
it.
like a Tennessee
Get us out there,
mountain
ladies and
top.
gentlemen.
Some straight
It
shooting
is
niggas that
Mr.
don't
Happy
name drop. Been a preacher man, praying for peace, but still packing a gun. Singing karaoke in a
Guys. Y'all have a
club
wonderful night.
with smoke so thick it'll burn your eyes. Oh, my sweet Lord, how I want you. Fall in love with an angel. You'll